Oh, crap. Once again, nothing was mine here. Hello, Internet. I'm me. And this is actually a Tokusatsu review for once. And, actually, I wanted to say that this is Ressha Sentai, no, it's not Ressha Sentai, Express Sentai ToQger versus Kamen Rider Gaim. This is actually really weird because they actually started out with this entire week for superhero time was not two separate episodes, but in fact a 1 hour special for spring break. So the two were actually together in one TV special for Versus, if you can call it that. This episode really isn't all that much of a versus as much as they kind of run into each other. This shouldn't have been called ToQger versus Kamen Rider Gaim. It should have been more of Kamen Rider Gaim meets ToQger, and then they go their separate ways. Because even in the fight scenes, they usually end up they start off together, and then like, oh, this villain was over here, and then this villain goes over here, so they go beep, and split off and start fighting on their own. So there's no combined fighting. This is not like Kamen Rider Decade and Shin Kinger, or hell, what I think everybody like didn't like this or really didn't like it. It was Kamen Rider, the Superhero Tyson. Yeah, I barely remember Superhero Tyson. But yeah, from that consensus, it wasn't good. I can't tell right now. However, this pretty much starts out with the ToQger coming into Kamen Rider Gaim City. Basic as that. They show up. They see the break dancers, and monsters show up. And when the monster shows up, of course the ToQger, like everyone's like, oh my God, run! And the ToQger are like, bitch, please, we got this. We got this. We got this. They transform, and that's the only really funny part of this episode where they actually transform. And Kota comes up and transforms too. And so they're like in mid transformation, they're both like, wait, huh? And he's like, what? There's like this awesome awkward silence between them, and then they go, huh? Like, what the fuck? Wait, what are you doing here? I thought that was pretty funny, and and to a point, that's probably the best part of this episode. That or the special, really, because it really is a plot cul-de-sac. Almost has nothing to do with either or plot of either series. Um, it's mostly a setup for Kamen Rider Gaim's movie, the Kamen Rider versus Kamen Rider movie, Heisei versus Showa Riders. It's pretty much set up for that. Uh, it's not much. The characters meet up, and I think it is kind of nice to see the fun, weird Super Sentai comedic outlook of ToQger kind of sort of mash slash blend with the Kamen Rider Gaim serious story, hard driven universe. It makes it very interesting for me. And I really thought it would work if they interacted a little bit more in suit and in fighting. Because this is what I mean. They interact plenty in the entire special, but when they fight, two Future fight way more differently than Kamen Rider Gaim. So see, like having those two fight together, like the entire team and Kamen Rider Gaim and the Beat Riders all fighting together, and in a weird way, like, what the hell are you doing? And then they're like, well, we're doing what we're doing. What are you doing? we're using our powers. And it's like, well, we're using our powers too. How do your powers even work? Imagination. See, that would have been funny. Like, it's a back and forth, it's a very goofy and straight man act that could really play off of this, but it doesn't really go off of that, and unfortunately, it's not bad. It just makes it very average, very, well, that happened, and very, okay, we just kind of hit this story speed bump for both teams. It's just like, oh, oh, okay, well, nothing gained. Like, I think the most gained is that Kota gets a pass onto the rainbow line, which he immediately gives away. Well, not immediately. He gives it away to take his friend out of the city because he knows bad shit's gonna happen, and then she just goes back and leaves the pass on the rainbow line. So it's superfluous. It was there for, you could say it's basically filler. It's character development, but it's filler as well. Because it's like, haha, we got her out of there, and she's right back. Because I really was actually hoping that they would do something to where it would have either a two-parter or something that would later on play into one of the shows, like that the friend does go to ToQger, and she's now out of Kamen Rider Gaim and in ToQger. And she has to deal with that. And more of that the ToQger kept lying to her about why she's over here in the ToQger's world, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll totally take you home, and oh my god, a dark liner, we gotta go take care of that, distract her and pretty much keep her, do what they were doing, pretty much keeping her from thinking of why she's on this train other than a trip. And that was the thing that I thought they would do, and do that for a couple of episodes, see what happens if the truth gets out and they're nowhere near Kamen Rider Gaim in the old city, but we didn't do that. The main villain in here is not much of a villain whatsoever. He's very forgettable. He's a comedic character. His ass gets kicked really easy. Like, both teams were kicking his ass through this entire special, and he would just run away. The only person who, villain-wise, was actually quite interesting was, of course, the villain for the Showa versus Heisei Riders in for the movie. And he's called Kamen Rider 15. He even has 15 written on his head. Which, as much as he looks all dark and shit, when I saw 15 written on his head, I was like, that kind of makes it a little goofy. And one more thing before I end this review, of course, is I did like the very samurai look of Kamen Rider Gaim in his new form. I thought it looked really kick-ass, and I really like it. I just love it, and I love that we actually get to see it transform and how it moves, and it's a big old blocky thing. So I thought that was kind of cool, and especially now that we get to see the sword attachment instead of the DJ gun. Yeah, I don't even know how that thing works. I don't at all. And I'm surprised Kota does at some point. That was the and of course, they both killed the bad guys. The ToQger run into Kamen Rider 15. Kamen Rider 1, V2, and V3 show up out of fuck nowhere, knock him around a bit. And then he's just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm out of here. The bad guys, you know what, fuck it, I'm out of here. And then leaves. And then the ToQger are like, well, you want to go help Kota? Because, Kamen Rider's right. And he goes, no, he's a Heisei Rider. And that's pretty much it. And they're like, the ToQger are like me. They're like, oh, okay. Bye, I guess. Thanks for the help. One thing that I wanted to say is, before my mouse closes off this and my screen goes blank and I can't see shit. The one thing I didn't like was kind of how more. I know this is gonna sound weird, but they're not on even keel. Kamen Rider Gaim and ToQger are not on even keel. Sometimes. Sometimes in the fight scenes, the ToQger can take out the Invis like that. Like the Invis henchmen, like the small, like the ones that were from animals and shit. Yeah, they can take care of those guys like they're nothing. But once it comes to like one of the normal monsters, they have like a really hard time. And sometimes like Kozo will be fighting some of the Invis, like the smaller Invis, and be like, ah, fuck, it's getting hard. And then like come up to the bigger guys and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's weird. And it's a flip-floppy thing because sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Sometimes the ToQger can't take on all the henchmen. Sometimes they can. Sometimes Kota can't take on all the henchmen. Sometimes he can. I don't know what the fuck is going on that point. I think it was just their way of trying to keep it even while introducing some of the comedic elements. Other than that, again, this is like a 7 out of 10. This is a very average, 7.5 out of 10. Very average, very plain, and hopefully later on we'll see either something flourish from this, other than the movie, or see something cool come up. So, anybody else hear that? No. Oh, yeah. Oh, I was getting ready. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, no. Let me finish this up. Yeah, okay. Well, until next time, guys. Peace. Yeah, no.